morning. Thanks for waking up with us today. We are joined by Senator Jon Tester this morning.
It's great to be here.
Yeah, thanks for waking up with us.
Absolutely.
We'll just get right into the questions. With the impeachment hearings on everyone's mind in D.C., how hard is it right now to get your colleagues to focus on normal business and legislation?
So it's interesting because all the action with the hearings and everything's on the House. The Senate really isn't impacted at all at this moment in time. If he is impeached and it comes over to the Senate, which I've been told if that happens will be probably after Christmas, first part of next year, then there will be business in the Senate. But right now, there's really no reason why we can't take up a lot of bills that are out there that are bipartisan bills that would help the country moving forward. And the list is long, whether it's Violence Against Women Act or whether it's funding for colleges or whatever it might be. I've got some suicide prevention bills. All those things could go through. They're all bipartisan. They would all come out with over 80 votes. But Senator McConnell is not bringing them to the floor. And if you listen to the nightly news, you would think that the only thing that's going on back there is impeachment. And that may be what's going on in the House, but certainly not in the Senate.
Do you think there's a way to repair the deep split caused by the impeachment debate, and is bipartisanship dead, essentially?
Yeah, well, that split's been there a long time. It's been there for 10, 12 years at least, if not longer, and there's a lot of reasons for it. In my opinion, a lot of it has to do with the amount of money that comes into these campaigns, where it causes a real paralysis, and the Citizens United decision and McCutcheon and all those are a problem. But look, I've got great friends, and I think everybody in the Senate would say that. We've got great friendships across the aisle with people. We work on stuff together all the time. I talk about Johnny Isakson as chair of the Veterans Affairs Committee. Johnny's going to retire and move back to Georgia because he's got Parkinson's. Jerry Moran's coming out, a Republican out of Kansas. We'll get a great relationship with him. Anticipate that'll work well. And the list goes on and on and on. So a lot of I really think a lot of the partisanship is caused by the leadership. And I think it's very, very unfortunate. I think Montanans and Americans expect more from the elected officials, and I don't think they're getting it.
There's a lot of debate among Democratic presidential candidates about expanding Medicare or health care for all. Do you see any of those ideas gaining traction and becoming reality?
You know, it's interesting. I get asked that question every day by the press corps in Washington, D.C. You know, there's a lot more to it than just Medicare for all. How are you going to pay for it? Who's going to be covered? Are you going to be able to keep your private insurance? All those things have an impact as whether they get any traction or not, how they're designed. I think in the end, what we need to look at as policymakers is making sure that health care is affordable, because it's not right now. And people, and it hasn't been for some time, by the way, and people can't afford to get sick. It hurts our economy and certainly hurts quality of life.
And you have been pushing the Trump administration on what you call a dangerous disregard for science in its policy making, and also how not taking climate change seriously is also impacting farmers and ranchers, obviously a lot of those here in Montana. What do you propose should be done?
Well, look, first of all, let science be your guide. I mean, I think it's really important. We spend hundreds of billions of dollars in taxpayer money on disasters every year. It's not a small item, and it seems like it's getting worse, not better. So instead of burying the scientific reports or instead of denying that it's happening, we need to do more work to see what the solutions are. And what I've said is that the solutions that can be put forward now will not be near as draconian as if we just ignore this and then 10 or 20 years from now go, oh gosh, what are we going to do because we can't feed people because of drought or other reasons caused by climate change. So I think it's prudent on it now is to listen to the scientists and work to try to find solutions that will help improve the economy and quality of life and allow us to continue to live on this earth. It's the only one we got.
And it looks like the Land and Water Conservation Funding is making some progress. What's the latest on that?
I certainly hope so. What the deal is we have each subcommittee that does the appropriations has X amount of dollars to work with. The line item that funds the Land and Water Conservation Fund needs to be increased. And so they can take it away from some other line item, put it into that, and I think we can get it done. I think there, once again, bipartisan support to get this done. It's the best conservation tool we have. I think it's been funded once, fully funded since the mid-'60s when it was set up. So this is something we need to get done. It really helps Western states in a big, big way. And hopefully we'll be able to do that. Like I said, it's bipartisan. There'll be some people that vote against it, and we'll talk against it. But in the end, it'd probably get 80 votes, which is pretty good in the U.S. Senate.
And finally, you've been working to curb a rise in suicide rates in Montana and across the country.
Yes.
You've introduced 2 bills. Tell us about these.
Yeah, one of them deals with veterans, called the John Scott Hannon bill, which is a veteran here in Montana that committed suicide last year. It's a good bill. It offers the VA the ability to hire psychiatrists, psychologists much easier. It allows for more telehealth to be done. It allows for people coming out of the military to have VA health care automatically for 1 year, so if they have any problems, they can go to the VA and get on the road to getting it fixed. That's the first one. Kind of thinking outside the box a little bit, actually. Using equine therapy, yoga, that kind of stuff too. The other one is with farmers, and you know, we lead the nation in suicide here in Montana. Farmers are about 45% higher. I should say farmers and ranchers are about 45% higher than average folks. So we've got an issue there, and with low commodity prices, it becomes a real problem. And so we've got a bill that will add to the toolbox for people in agriculture, reduce the stigma of mental health care, and get some public service announcements up, and allow some training for Farm Service Agency folks and agriculture governmental folks. So it'll be a good bill. Like I said, both of these bills are bipartisan. I think we could get them through, and they make sense, and they don't break the bank.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us here
Great
this
to be here.
morning.
Thank
We're going to
you.
send it on